How's it going, everybody? Tony here from Kapowcast, bringing you another action figure review. Today we continue on the road with the Marvel Legends Retro Spider-Man wave with probably the most anticipated figure in the wave, the new and improved, possibly, Spider-Man. But before we get started, if it's your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button with the bell notification so that you can keep up with all of our reviews and other things like our podcast. Anyways, so let's take a look at this retro packaging that looks oh so delightful every time I stare at it. Got your normal packaging Spider-Man call out from the 90s movie. Did notice this. I don't know if I've ever laid eyes on it, but it's the old Marvel Comics logo, which is pretty awesome. You got your billboard with your animated figure. No ups, no downs, but we do have a back, which gives you a look at all the other figures in the wave, your artwork of Spider-Man up there on the corner, and then the factor that we have interchangeable heads, and of course that read up. Pause if you want to read that real quick if you're not familiar with Spider-Man. And then that is it for the box. Let's get it open. Let's go. All right, and there we go. We got Spidey out of the package, and so far I've played with it a little bit, and first off, thoughts out of the package is that, it's okay. It's okay. It's looking good. When we get into it a little bit deeper, we'll see what we can find. But as for accessories, it does come with this interchangeable head right there, which to me, one looks more like a Steve Ditko drawing, and then the other one looks more like a Rameda Senior drawing. So you got two pretty, in my opinion, what I think, you got two pretty famous Spider-Man artists recreations of heads, which is really cool. I do appreciate that. He comes with two web slinging hands on him already, and then he comes with close fisted hands. No wall crawling hands though. And I have to say, I think this is probably a majority of most of the collectors out there. I use those web crawling hands more than I use the flipping hand or the closed fist hand. That wall crawling hand just really kind of does a lot for the figure, the wide open spread. So the factor that you don't get wall crawling hands with these guys, this guy, is kind of a downfall. It's kind of a bummer and kind of a missed opportunity. But other than that, that's it. That's all you get out of the pack. Deal with it. Taking a closer look at the figure here, we do have some cool stuff with this Spider-Man figure that we haven't seen on other figures before. I will have to say that the line work, spider line work, looks pretty solid. It goes all the way up through, which is a definite plus. It looks like most, if not all of it, lines up for the most part. I mean, when you obviously when you swivel, it's not going to line up, but there's no kind of weird stuff going on. Kind of got some red there in the elbows, which that's always kind of like the downfall of these figures, is their joints. That's a little bit loose. The Spidey logo on the back here looks pretty good. No blotching or anything around that. You can kind of, maybe a little bit, see the blue coming through the red. Not a huge deal for me. What the hell is that? Is that wrinkles in his suit? Is that what that is? In his butt? Do you see this? Are those wrinkles? That has to be wrinkles in the suit. It's just gotta be wrinkles in the suit. Please, I'll have to check out other reviews, but I want to know if that's there on other figures. Because if so, that's insane. You don't really have any black wash over top of the muscles to kind of bring it out. On the other hand, that's not really kind of Marvel Legends thing, so I can't really tag them that. It does look like a better sculpt all around, like more definition in the muscles in the areas. This is weird. I don't know how I feel about the new joint in the head there, because obviously you got this little part in the back here that's just like a gaping hole. I guess it's not a complete downer, but it's weird for me. I don't know how I feel about it just yet. I'll have to like get them into some poses and figure it out. You have the same butterfly joint, so that's cool. The lining on the mask looks pretty awesome. Same thing with the secondary mask. I actually think I like this lining a little bit more than that lining. But other than that, the blue seems good. There's no real crazy blotching going on. So let's roll right into articulation then. So Spidey's head here is on a dual, I think it's a dual ball hinge joint. So you can look up that much. You can look down a little less than normal, but you do get some like side to side motion here. If you can see it like a little bit, so you can kind of get more dynamic head poses going on. This is something I've seen, aka have seen, but let's see if I can get it into the camera view a little bit better here. Come on, focus. You can see a gap here in his neck, which that irks the living crap out of me. I don't understand. Like, I'm not an engineer by any means, so obviously somebody help me out here. I don't get why there has to be a gap in his neck when he looks up. That was like first thing out of the box when I moved his head, I noticed. That's a definite downfall, but I still like the articulation in this head is almost at par with like a Mafex figure. Like it's pretty dynamic. I like it. So yeah, head can do all that stuff. Go down and you have the same old butterfly joints happening on your Spider-Man figure. So pretty good range on those. Go back all the way like that. Go forward about that much. You got your shoulder joints which go around. Why is all these upper biceps do these go around? It can go up that much, go down that much. You got your double jointed elbows, which do for some reason, I don't know if it's this bicep or the arm mold or whatever, but they get hindered by that bicep area, so you don't get like the full articulation. This isn't bad in my book. This is completely fine, because most of the time you'll have them in something of this nature right here. So you got the double joint, and then you got the hinge on the wrist with the swivel. Obviously you got the bicep swivel. I don't know if I have to go over that when I just screamed about it. Then here comes the new stuff. So you got your same old diaphragm cut right here, but they introduced that second abdomen bend that like the Lightning Collection Power Rangers figures have. So you get that extra kind of crunch in there, which that's pretty dope. I like that. I think wow, you'll get some pretty good poses going on with Spider-Man, making it a little bit more dynamic. He also has the drop down hips that recently have been coming around. That one's a little bit better. That one clicks a lot better than this one over here. That's kind of a bummer. There's not really a click. It just kind of goes down. No clicky. There is no waist swivel like normal, which that's kind of a downfall. But maybe you'll be able to kind of get a little bit more. I have a love-hate relationship with the waist swivel because it just kind of interrupts the cuts and the paint so much so that like it's kind of just it has almost like a cringe level thing with me. So you got the drop down hips right there. This one just doesn't do it. This one, that's a lot better. So you got the drop down hips right there. Got the upper thigh cut there. Double jointed knees. Like that. You got an actual good foot hinge. I wish they'd put this on Daredevil. And then you got the rocker. And then you got a boot cut too. Lovely boot cut. Prime. And that is it for articulation. So let's get some friends in here, have some fun. And here we have our new Spider-Man with his wave mates, Daredevil and Peter Parker, all sizing up pretty well. All looking good too. And there we have our new Spider-Man with a couple other Spider-Man. We got the classic pizza Spider-Man there and the black suited Spider-Man from the Craven Spider-Man 2-pack. There we have Spidey with more of their Spider-Man family, more of his sisters, if you want to go that route, with Spider-Gwen and Spider-Woman. And just why not, more Spider-Man comparisons. We got them here with the Scarlet Spider and Spider-Punk, two of my other favorite Spider-Man variations. Okay, so for final thoughts on this character, I do enjoy this new Spider-Man. I do like the improvements on the abdomen area that they did. The head with the gap in the back is kind of weird for me. I just the gap in the back and then the gap underneath the chin. It was just, I don't know. That's a little weird. I think that can kind of be looked over again and maybe improved on. No wall crawling hands is definitely a negative. No web effects of any type either. I think that the Spider-Man figures really need to kind of embrace the web effects, if you will. We got some really cool ones out of the Demo Goblin wave, which can basically be used in diorama setups to web up villains, to do a bunch of things. And I think like getting more of those or having access to get more of those would be great for any Spider-Man fan. The lack thereof of web effects is kind of what really hinders the line, or at least a Spider-Man figure. You can't really set up a mass display or something of that nature where Spidey's just whooping everybody's butt and everybody's all webbed up and stuff. There's just no possibility unless you go through third-party sellers. If I need to say that. All in all, I don't hate it, but I don't love it at the exact same time. I'd probably give it a 7 or an 8 out of 10. I think there's still a little bit of work to do to get like an ultimately good Marvel Legends Spider-Man figure in our hands. So as long as they keep improving on it and keep making adjustments to the character, they could very possibly fine-tune one of the best Spider-Man figures in like all of the collecting world. They have that capability, they have that power. And with great power comes great responsibility. With that being said, that'll be it for this review. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications so that you will never miss one of our reviews when it hits the good old YouTube. We still have a few more figures in this retro wave, so make sure you do that. Get in while you still can. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.